Hello, this is Ursula with Allyson, and technology is not cooperating. So we are recording this for you because we love you, and then we're going to upload it. And so if you have questions, comments, you do the practice and you want to, share your image, whatever, please add to this so that, we can continue.
Keep playing with you.
Keep playing with you. And someone just texted me, someone I didn't know, maybe someone wanted to be in on it. Okay, but before we do any of that, right, so we're going to do the body map process. This is Allyson's favorite, which I love. We are going to do our traditional lipstick and then potion ourselves up. Where's your lipstick, Allyson? You just had it.
And I couldn't actually, just so everybody knows, I couldn't handle not having my lipstick on. So I was like, I have to put it on now before recording started, but round two.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go.
Okay. It sounds like you're having an orgasm and eating chocolate at the same time, which I love.
It's lipstick.
Lipstick. Lipstick is medicine.
Okay, I did all right. Yeah, lipstick as medicine. Dude, lipstick as medicine. Yeah. All right, so let's take some turns. I'm going to start with one of Ursula's potions, the Clear Sight potion. That feels really evocative for working with a body map. So I'm going to start with that one. What are you starting with?
I'm going to start with Devotion by Sister Spinster. That's been so helpful. Allyson gave it to me for my birthday.
Happy birthday, I love you.
Thank you, I love you. And it's been really good to just help be gently aligned with my love and passion and creativity during this strange time.
I'm going to then move to Sister Spinster's Over the Hedge. I'm going to read it crossing into the wild and dancing with the unknown. So crucial for me at these moments to allow it to be a pleasure and a delight, as opposed to spinning out and catastrophizing.
Yeah. And I'm going to take one of my Chalice Well essences, which is love. Because who don't need more love? So I need a little more in there.
You do. So I was first introduced to Ursula's work with the Snake Wisdom elixir, goddess elixirs. So Kaliak, Earth Power Rising. For me, the creative practice is really, in the body map practice in particular, is really about listening to the language of my body to get information. And of course, the language of the body is sensation. That's my favorite line.
That's really good. The language of the body is sensation. Yeah.
It's helped me reformulate some of the ways my body talks to me.
Great. I'm writing it down. I mean, I'm sure I've heard you say it. And I know it, but
yeah.
It's great to have the multiple brains. So I'm not going to take another potion in my mouth, but I am going to spray myself with White Sage's Breath of Fire anointing.
Oh, I have that one in my bedroom. I wish I had it here so I could join you. Maybe I'll join you with God's Eye Oil's Soften. Oh,
yeah. Favorite essential oil scent creatrixes.
Oh yeah, they really know what's up.
Yeah, they both know what's up. Yeah.
This is Natalie Chaput God's Eye Oil.
Awesome. And this one, I'm crazy in love with either ylang and patchouli or rosaranium and patchouli. Patchouli by itself, not necessarily, makes me think of the sort of classical dirty hippie. Whatever, it's cool. I don't hate it. But with one of those, I'm oh my God, swoon. Swoon. It's a smell swoon for me. So, and it has.
Love it. I don't have any ingredients, but smell swoon.
Yeah.
And ready to soften. Oh. What if we just did a video where we just applied things to our bodies?
It would be helpful for people. We can't touch each other, but at least we could be transmitting.
Well, and we can invite everybody to do it.
Yeah,
I also have your Bridget's healing oil, which particularly with all of the hand washing and sanitizer, my hands have like aged 10 years. And, you know, like I'm happy to wear my 42 years, however they look, but self hand care has just like amplified. Mm. Mm. You know, whatever mood I was in before, like a little tizzy, I just like, now I'm like, I'm ready to get it on.
Here we are, smelling good and ready to do some creative shit together.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, on that note, I don't always do this, but when it feels more ceremonial or when I'm like really trying to cultivate, a channel, I like to start with a meditation. And if you signed up for my mailing list, there was a link to a meditation. And yeah, if you didn't, because that wasn't always working for everyone, like you can get the body map guide really easily from many sources on Facebook, my page, Ursula's page, like every post we've made in the past like 24 hours. So it's easily accessible and free. You don't even have to give me your email address. And all that being said, I can be really nice to light sacred space. If you've got a candle, why don't you light it? Right? Like potions, unguents, sprays are all a way to communicate with our body around shifting attention, shifting energy. A candle, which of course I don't have, but Ursula's got us covered. I got a lot of altars in this room. It's going to be okay. Is just to like set intention, because what it does is it's like sort of we're communicating to something greater than ourselves, however you might understand that this is a time of particular focus and attuning. Sometimes that is a delight and a pleasure to do, and sometimes you just want a pen and a paper and to do the work and skip through all that. So light your candle. You don't worry about if you don't have your materials. Let's just start with a quick meditation. I can go on for a while with these meditations. I'm going to make this one a quick one. Okay. So get a comfortable seat, shoulders over the hips. Sitting up is really helpful since we're going to be doing an active practice. Soles of the feet on the ground. Of course, you are a sovereign human being who can choose. If you're feeling more shut down or tighter, put your palms down on your thighs. If you're feeling more open and available, open up your palms so that you can get a little more information. And start to breathe. Imagine roots reaching out from the soles of your feet and your sit bones, reaching out to the earth, all the way down. Just notice if there's any energetic shifts as you go through that process. If you start to feel slower, more rooted. On your inhale, imagine pulling that intimacy with the earth up into your body, from your toes, your feet, ankles, moving all the way up your body. And as you exhale, imagine the roots just spreading wider, connecting with the roots of the plants and the trees, the mycelium, everything that lives and thrives and grows and blooms because of the earth. And that inhale, moving the attention up the body, up to the knees and the hips, allowing that energy to enter inside the body and stirring the alchemy at the sacrum. If you want to move your hips a little, I like it. And pulling that energy all the way up to your heart, really allowing it to stir and move and hear. Welcoming yourself into your whole body. Inhaling. Exhale, push out a golden orb that holds you in your own energy. so that you are sovereign and complete, fully porous so that you can receive information, but also fully protected, fully in your own energy. And when you're ready, open your eyes. Okay, I could have gone for like a lot longer, but this may or may not be to your taste. And I think it's kind of okay. So, and I want, have the smorgasbord, do what you like, leave the rest. Thanks, AA. Great message. Take what you like and leave the rest. I've got another video set up with my ring light, which is why I'm poorly lit today. And
should I pin it now?
Let me sort of tune in for a moment and see what instruction. There are a lot of different ways to use this practice. If you are feeling really intensely about something, get out of your head, into your body, and start drawing it. Oh, there's like a little, anyway. If you're just like, oh, I don't really know, I'm just kind of curious, this is an opportunity. This process is about not thinking. It's about using discernment with like what you like or what you don't like. So I'm going to invite us all today. Hold on just a minute and I'll call on you. Thank you, busy class. To follow your instincts of like what's giving you pleasure in this moment, right? Ursula and I just went through that whole pleasure routine that like loved and pleasured me up after a sort of buzzy, frantic morning. And so let's tune into our pleasure. It doesn't mean that pleasure is what's going to show up on the page, but let's tune into our pleasure, what you like, what you want. Hey, Ursula, you had a question.
Yes. So for people, when you say, I'm asking for people who will be watching, when you say draw it, right? Like, can you speak to, but I don't know how to draw?
Yes. Thanks for asking.
Because it's not about artistic talent. So.
Right. Now, this is like, please relieve yourself. And I'm certainly relieving myself of the expectation for it to look good, right? That's not right. Like that is like an imposed expectation that's just going to get in the way of the creative process. The inner critic is super important, and it's like a couple doors down on the creative process. The act of creation is one of just like listening to the moment. So I have a body map. Right now I just have 3 body maps. Ursula's got a body map. I like it. And if you don't have one, don't worry about it. You might try this without the outline of the body. Here's my MoMA. Here's my background since I've got such a textury table. Or just, draw out a quick body map, right? Just draw out, I like the sort of specific confines of this. Often a body map is much more gender neutral, right? And much more just like a really quick, leg outline. It all works. And I've had a couple of people be like, oh, it's really interesting how thin these bodies are. Like it doesn't quite look like your body. And which was a really helpful reflection. And part of it was a little stingy because I was like, well, it did when I started the process, right? So there was a sting there in the reflection. And then also just to write, like we all have such different bodies. So I've had some requests of like, hey, let's get some other bodies in that body map guide. My first step was from the like breast, vulva, body, small waist was to have a slightly more gender neutral body. And so I am working on that. I am like very aware, right, of my lenses and the like thin lens that shows up. In particular, yeah, like one person was like, why doesn't it look like you? And to have to answer like, well, it did. Like,
yeah, that whole exchange is fraught. The whole thing. Like,
yeah. And what this person was trying to offer was like, you're beautiful as you are, and I'm not seeing that reflected in this.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a stingy moment. And right, like I'm still holding on to it because there's information for me. So like, thank you if you look at these bodies and you're like, this is not for me. And I offer to you that even if the body isn't for you, the practice might be. So have a blank page and do that, or make a, you know, a sort of gingerbread person outline and do that. It's all about getting the information. It's not actually about what it looks like. Do you have anything else you wanted to surface?
No, I think that covered it, because I know that just breaking it down, people will be watching it from different places of constellating around how they do or don't feel empowered around being creative. And so I know that this is for everyone, and just wanted to give it.
Thank you. Yeah, the best thing that we can do with our creativity is not fucking think about it and just do it. And like, it's okay to have opinions about it, but can you have an opinion about it and keep doing it?
Yeah.
And let yourself off the hook about it. And you know what? I have shut myself down. Like, I'm sitting in a room with like 20 of my paintings and a whole body map collection all over the wall. And I have shut myself down around creative practice because I'm not good enough. So that thought never goes away, no matter how good you are, or it has yet to go away for me or for most of the artists I know.
Let's give it a cookie. Let's give it a cookie.
Yeah, let's give it like, this is not about being good. This is about just following your information. So I'm going to switch to the other headset. I'm going to like sort of put this one on snooze, and we're going to dive in and see what happens. Okay.
Hi. Like the upside down perspective.
All right.
And I'm doing it along with you too. Just you guys can't see because I don't have the nifty setup that she does.
Because you don't have the like wild setup that I got going on. Oh, so can you hear me?
Oh yeah, hear you fine.
Oh, good. All right. So I'm noticing in myself all these excuses like, well, this isn't going to be as good as it might be because other people are watching and I'm talking. So I'm going to let that part of me just like come have a seat at the creativity table.
Yeah.
So I want to anchor us back in on that notion of enjoying ourselves. You get to do this any way that works for you. I'm going to share with you my particular way, and I'm going to move some things a little bit out of the way. I like to start with a pen. I have lots of them with some different widths. Great if you have it, no big deal if you don't. What you got, it feels good. I'm going to go for a fatter pen. And I'm about to stop talking for a moment so you can just watch the process. What I'm about to do is tune in to where I'm feeling things and see if I can just give them some pattern, some symbol, and follow it. So I'm going to maybe take about 5 minutes to follow that. And Ursula, if anything comes up for you and you want to start talking, please do so. I'll do the same.
I'll just say that I find it so appropriate that there's some smallest child outside, like yelling, like in a sort of like just like great, get it out, kid.
Good one. So I'm noticing like I'm making a choice of my line, and then I'm making another choice and another choice. And as soon as I feel like I've disconnected and started to think about it, I stop and I close my eyes and I tune in again, like deep breath. What's talking to me right now? Okay, yeah. My left knee just spoke up.
And if you feel like you have no idea what we're talking about, just pretend you're in kindergarten and you're having fun drawing, and whatever comes to your mind, do it. Be in kindergarten.
Yeah. right? Like your body map doesn't need to look anything like mine, like Ursula's. Like this is just how I do it for me.
And they
In
look
this case,
different every
I,
time. Every time I do one with Allyson, or they always look different because I'm always different.
mm-hmm.
Discovered pens that I really like from Daiso.
Oh,
That pen. It's just a simple pen, but it's just really satisfying for my hand. So
Congratulations. My go-to pen is a little pricey. It's the Micron pen.
yes,
It's a little pricey. Oh, I'm already noticing some judgment about the like imperfection of the line over here. Like welcoming that part of me in. Oh, look, I got like 2 minutes in before I started judging. Nice job.
just for reference, this is what's happening with mine.
Ooh, yeah, there's a lot of movement going on for you.
Yeah, it's super interesting.
So you might be in a space where there's lots happening and you want things showing up everywhere. And you might be in a space where like it kind of feels complete. I like to run my hand over it, kind of get any intuition information. For me, I'm really just tuning into where the pleasure is. That's becoming like my guiding force here.
Yeah, I like that. I feel like those like it helps when I can just drop into the extension of like, oh, what line does my hand feel like making that just feels comfortable? I don't know if it comes up as how the child is still gloriously expressing outside.
Oh, I love it. So I feel like my pen work is complete for the moment. I might go back. Where are you at with your pen work?
Yeah,
this line needs to be stronger. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm just about.
Needs to be stronger, and I got a softer line pen. Okay. Ooh. I just looking at this, I start to, you can't see me. Let me move my hands so I can show you like how my body is moving. I don't know how to do it. This is what this brought out of me, right? This is like, Woo. Ursula, can you talk? I'll stop so we can look at yours.
Oh, sure. Let's see. What am I feeling? Oh, I'm going to unpin you for a second so that they can get a closer look at my unpin video. So let make me. So here's mine. And I just always find it interesting to translate, oh, like, where does stuff feel like stuck? Where is it moving? Where is it whatever? And just notice that. And I can't remember if you specifically said this before, but just, I know you have in the past, like it's the translation of, sensation and feeling into a neutral thing. Like maybe it doesn't feel neutral in our bodies, but it's an opportunity to, in some sense, take it off the hamster wheel of unconscious like feeling and giving it some place, like, oh yeah, look, there's like a sort of maybe what I'm feeling is stuck here, but just bringing the energy out and giving it
witness, right? Some of the things that we're experiencing, all they need is to be witnessed, right? Like all they need is a little like honoring and recognition in order to kind of like lighten and set free or loosen, and some things need a lot more than that. So I'm gonna suggest that we now pull in color. Can
I add one thing to the thing you were saying before?
Mm-hmm.
Before we go into that, so about that witnessing, it's like, because of the way you and I both work with the body and with energy, I just think about how much, and sometimes we've been sold as a modern culture that like talk therapy is the thing, and talk therapy is really important. Like, I'm not saying it's not needed, but there's some things that don't need like a story in the same way, but they do. They need witnessing, they need to be felt, they need to be held, and then they just want that so they can move, right? But I feel like we're so often people are very afraid to feel what they feel because they're not resourced. So there's just different ways to resource, and that also not everything needs the level of giving it a story with words, but it does need supportive process and loving process to let it be witnessed and metabolized and transformed.
And I would say that a way to do that is to like make it beautiful. And I don't really mean make it look pretty and package it and like not look at it. I just mean like really give your attention to it and allow yourself to dive in with materials. And then just notice how you feel after.
Yeah.
Right. Like, what does that do after? Just like that process of our potions and our oils, and our sprays and our lipstick really shifted the energy in me. Right. Like, right now in particular, all of my actions are based on shifting myself out of fear, anxiety, catastrophizing.
Yeah.
Into pleasure and being present to the moment and tending what's actually happening in the moment, as opposed to the storytelling that can come up.
And last thing, if you're having a hard time sitting down to do this on your own, see if you can do it with a friend from distance. It can really just having that mutual support can be so much helpful. So just know that.
So I just want to say as we move into the materials, so here's one. I brought this practice with me when I went to the Amazon with Amanda Eloesh and a woman that came with us, Mandy Downs, MFT. She brought oil pastels. Oil pastels have never really been my deal. I don't know why. They're so sensual. It's silly. And so I did this when I was in the Amazon with oil pastels, and they blend really beautifully, and there's just like this nice material. So I pulled this out so that you would know. I'm an artist. I'm particular. I have my markers, right? I've got and I've spent years doing this. So I have my ways, they're just my ways. Crayons are great. Color pencils are great. If you want to keep it like this, I've got ones that are still sitting like this. A, because I like them, and B, because I'm not yet in the space to figure out. I haven't had the patience to sit down with the color. Ursula, what do you got? What are you rocking?
I grabbed my, we have this, quote unquote kit box of it's crayons and oil pastels and I don't know what else. I grabbed that, and then I don't know how good these are still, but they're like gel pens. So, yeah.
So anything can work. Ursula, I'm going to recommend that we maybe spend about 5 minutes coloring.
Yeah.
Coloring. And then maybe we pause the recording, do a little bit more, and then pick it up again.
That sounds
yeah. So I just want to show you all some of the things I've explored that give me pleasure with this material. And I will say, I did a art residency a couple of years ago, and my professor It was at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. And I was painting stags, which well, right now it's covered, but I've got a stag behind me in my studio. And my professor told me to just keep painting stags until I'd learned everything I could and I would know. And so I did a series of 3. I didn't learn everything I could, but I learned a lot. And just each time I did the same thing over and over, like like it just got more nuanced.
Yeah.
So that was just a really beautiful instruction. His name was Chris, and I'm forgetting his last name. Forgive me, but it was like, it's a piece of medicine I carry with me. So there is something good about using the same material if this process intrigues you, because you start to learn about the material. So I'm really at the moment feeling soft blues and some greens. I'm going to pull out just a few markers and I'm going to start playing. I like precision, she says as she gets that little mess over there. I really enjoy these brush pens.
Mm-hmm.
And whatever you got is great. For a long time, I did these with Sharpies, the fine tip Sharpie.
I picked an orange color that I like with the oil pastel, and I'm just feeling into spots that want it. And I think I'm gonna probably do finger later. But I'm not doing that yet because it'll get obviously my fingers all going. So I'm just feeling into the little bits that want the orange.
Ooh, could you lift it up and show us? Ooh, I like it. Yeah, there's lots of different ways, right? Like I'm really enjoying just like the feel of the pen on the paper. And one of my favorite things is to get kind of brushy and blend colors on top of one another. And really build up something.
Now I'm moving on to a lemon yellow.
What do you say we stop the video for 10 minutes or so and hop back on with wherever we're at?
Sounds great. Here we go. Go ahead.
So I was just, it hasn't been 5 minutes, but I was just noticing as I, was just enjoying my mark making and enjoying what I was up to. I kind of tuned in, I need a little farther away. A pleasure for my thighs, like drawing this and doing these marks. I just like all of a sudden was like, oh, right, my thighs are so great. So there's a part of this process that might offer you like ongoing pleasure or delight as you pay attention.
Yeah.
Right. As you really tune in, because when you're doing a body mop, it's like as you hit the knee, all of a sudden you're not only paying attention to the knee on the page, but the knee of your body. Before we stop the recording again, Ursula, has anything been coming up for you that you want to surface?
I've been thinking about how what are the sensations in my body that tell me like I'm in contact with my pleasure, and like what feels like just align with what I would say like my soul's wanting in the moment. And it's and this is also true like in my work with people, especially like when I have my hands on people, but not only, but it's like that's also part of where it got honed in a very like when I used to do like massage, even, like it's like this feeling of warmth and openness and softness that is primarily kind of in the heart and maybe like up into the throat area. And so, and I just want to name that like that's something that I practice. You can practice, like if you're like I have no idea what you guys are talking about, it's okay, you can learn for yourself. it's totally like human capacity and human, just part of our skills. It's just a lot of people have been trained out of it or to not pay attention to it. So we all have ways that are there and we can learn to notice, and just stepping out of the critic, right? And just being in the like experience is what helps that noticing.
And I just want to surface, like, the critic is super important. It's not that the critic is in any way bad, right? Like, how we want to show up needs our discernment. It's just that certain things like only get fully fleshed out or fully developed if we give the critic a break.
Yes.
Right. The critic has a crucial job.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And discernment is that word, right? Because
it's a good word.
It's a really good word. I feel like it's really helpful. Sometimes like people will say like, oh, but I feel like I don't want to be so judgmental. And I often find myself in a good way, like validating, like, listen, like I think we often feel judgmental when we don't feel connection to our power and we're trying to like sort out a situation or make sense of something. But when we can come back to ourselves and we can discern and have good boundaries, then it's like, you know, we can just navigate everything from such a different place. Yeah, and no, discernment is like, doesn't jump down our throats.
Well, and I would say that discernment is about what is or is not for you. Judgment is about what is or is not for someone else.
Nice.
Right? Like,
right.
You know, if you're a parent, like, judgment has a really different role. Right? Because you're like, there's like that, like, navigating the sovereignty of another being who also like never cleans up after themselves in the bathroom or the kitchen. I'm not talking from personal experience at all.
No, I'm sure you're not. Parenting is so easy. It's like if you're in a manual and you just like had to sign up for an email list and it gave you the manual, and I'm good. I signed up for that thing and now I'm good.
Yep, all done. All right, I offer that we like pause our vid for a mo.
2, 3.
Hey everybody. So of course, like for you, I haven't gone anywhere. For me, it's been a spell. And I was just noticing how, like, one of the things I love about this practice is the not planning it out in advance, like not fixing my color palette in advance, because I'm using colors that are really surprising me, that weren't necessarily in my original imagining. Oh, I don't like that brush. Let's see here. Yeah. And so, like, as you stay tuned into the process and just the pleasure and action of really what is essentially coloring, bless the coloring.
Bless the coloring.
You get like more intuitive hits and information. And just looking at like these moments, I'm like, I already have a like, oh wow, I didn't even know that was inside me. And it didn't come from the drawing, it came from the color choices and how I rendered it. And it's, for me, it's still too early to start to tell a story about this. But I'm just noticing, like, as I make choices that surprise me, I'm getting some information about where I'm at, what I value, what's happening with my attention, how I'm feeling. And so I invite you to, like, if you're in this process, allow it, like, notice it. And can we, if we can, keep the story out of it? Like, I totally want to tell you the story of what's happening here. And I'm like, oh, it's intriguing. Let's hold off. Let's just be excited and intrigued that it happened and that it's giving me some information. Ursula, is anything coming up for you as we continue to engage in this process?
I am yeah, definitely, like, I feel myself still really in the process. Like, I'm not, like, through the metabolizing or the, like, looking at it, and I can feel there's, like, a sensation in my throat that's, like, happening. That's not like tension. It's more like it feels like things are moving, maybe. I don't actually, it's a little hard to describe it. It's more of a, it's not tightness. It's like an awareness. So yeah, I just feel myself continuing to be in the process, and really glad to not try to put a story on it right now. It's like it doesn't even feel available yet, and my body's like, nope, just that.
Yeah, and I'm just noticing a lot of pleasure as I'm building the layers of like, oh, that feels really good. Like that felt good in this moment, and now this new moment needs this other layer, this different thing. So there's lots of depth for me happening that just continues to kind of offer up some sensation and some sensation and information.
And reminding everyone that if you like hit the end of something that you feel like you're enjoying doing and you're like, you don't know what's next, just pause and breathe for a minute. And then maybe look at your colors if you're using color and be like, oh, what color do I just like? What am I being drawn to right now? It's like sort of connect the dots, like let yourself go slow enough. Like thinking like, oh, what am I going to use next? You're not. You're paying attention to what you're doing. And then when that feels like it stopped, for whatever reason, like breathe, and then let your eyes like fall on your color and see. And then when you have your color, be like, just where does the color want to go? Totally kindergarten. What texture? Thick, thin, long. So I've gotten this far. I added gel pens.
Ooh, wow.
Now I think
feeling yours.
Yeah, I'm gonna start. I think I'm mooshing around the oil pastel, and I'm curious about how that will be.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing that.
I'm like, okay, I do. I mean, I'm like, which finger is which? Like, there's an orange and red finger. There's a blue finger.
Nice. And sweets, I feel like we can pause for another moment.
Great.
So Ursula and I were just talking about like how really different ours look, and how, which is awesome, like the greatest, and like how we have different approaches. Ursula, would you show yours?
Yeah, I am. And you know what?
Or would you pin yourself?
I'll pin myself for now.
I'd love to talk about yours.
Yeah.
Oh, can I talk about yours and have you visible?
You can totally talk about mine. Go ahead.
And will yours stay visible? Because I feel like as soon as I start talking, mine shows up.
Nope, I have it pinned. So
oh, thanks everybody at home. So Ursula and I I was noticing that we function really differently in this particular one. And what really draws me to Ursula is Ursula runs Dakini energy just as her way. And I feel that in this drawing. I also feel like the color and the lines just give so much deep information. And it really is this moment by moment. What is the yes in this moment? What is the yes in this moment? And exploring that, and allowing the whole, the gestalt of it, to just be what it is, and to allow all of those pieces to be alive and active. Will you come to mine? Can we pin mine now?
Yeah.
Is it pinned?
It is.
And I'm noticing for mine, because I'm finishing up an oracle deck, I do mine with that eye of like perfection, in to what for me is a messy way, but like just noticing like my desire for cohesion, no matter what I'm talking about. And it, right, like Ursula and I actually have really similar energy, but we encounter these things differently. And I was just surfacing with Ursula, like, oh, what happens when I finally publish my deck? It's on pause during shelter in place, folks. It's on pause. Okay, do I have one? Hold on. I do. Like, someone reached out wanting to use them, I think, without really seeing them. And then once they saw all of them, didn't want to use them. But so I've printed out like the decks, which are really exciting to have them in cards. There's still plenty to make better, always.
Hello, inner critic. Hello. Here's your critic.
Thanks for naming it. But just noticing like the fact that I've got this like product does inform how I do it. And part of it gets to be just like, you get to do this how you like it. You get to do it like, oh, I like what Allison's doing. I'll sort of, let me steal the good ideas from her. Oh, I like what Ursula's, oh, you can't see my hands as I like point to Ursula on my other computer screen. I like what Ursula's doing. I'll do what she's doing. Or like, I've got my own vision. I want that. That feels like, you know, a really important part of the process, right? Like these are, this is like some information about me on the paper. So obviously it's going to look helpful and like information for me. Yours is going to be yours. What's coming up for you, Ursula, as we unpack and voice these things?
I'm just feeling like a lot of sort of curiosity and wonder, because I was saying I've never filled up one so much.
Mm-hmm.
And again, because they're always different, because my energy is always different. So just like being present with, like I'm just in the almost receptive now that it's come out. I feel very sort of receptive and curious, and like contemplative. About it. There's not like my like frontal cortex isn't really doing anything right now, which feels good.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah.
I think I'm hearing from you some that you feel pretty complete around it. Is that accurate?
I think I do. Yeah. I think because before I wasn't sure when we were still on pause, but then when I grabbed the crayons and did the, I added the edges especially.
Mm-hmm.
And then it started felt like it brought in what wanted to be added. So I think it's pretty complete right now.
Nice. I'm going to leave this here. Hold on. I'm going to show up in the video. Hi, everybody. Hi. I'm trying to mute myself there.
So what I'm going to offer, there may be a little more that I want to do at the moment, or not at the moment. There may be a little more sort of energy moving for this one for me. I'm not sure, but I'm going to offer pause us if you're in the middle of doing this and you're not complete, and then hit play again when you are. And we're going to close out our ceremony, and I'm going to invite you to put it away. Or if it's still working with you, like put it up on your altar. Put it up somewhere where you can see it and it can keep talking to you. But we're not doing story time about it yet. Give it some space to impress itself upon you, because you've just been working the muscle of instinct and intuition and getting out of the head. And let's give the story a little time to unfold. So a great thing if you're coming up is let's go back to our senses. I'm going to pull out Natalie's God's Eye spray. I'm almost out. So I want to enjoy it fully. Take a little stretch, right? I've just been like hunched over.
Oh my God, that feels so good.
Oh, I want to show off. I've got this top that like does this. It was not my smartest choice.
Or maybe not
Oh, I
your
didn't do that. I didn't do this while teaching. I think I was just showing you all my lower bra. What potion do I want? I think I'd like some kenosis, some of Ursula's Christos. Mm. Mm.
You take some. This is my friend. Do you know Rihanna Sang? Rihanna Rebecca Sang?
I took a workshop with her, and I know lots of people who know her, and we talk about her, and she's great, but like I bet she doesn't remember me.
So anyways, this is one she made a while ago, called Empress, that I like before
I like it.
Before our Empress Circle.
Mm-hmm.
And then it tastes so good, that one. And then this is one that it doesn't have like an official name. I actually made it in Portugal, at my in-laws' house, which is beautiful, with flowers from them. And it has white rose, lemon verbena, rose geranium, full moon in Taurus. I haven't figured out. It's like a prayer, but I don't know what the prayer is in words.
Nice. I've got the Beloved. It's feeling like a good choice for me. I want to make sure I don't miss my mouth.
I mean, I'm sure your cleavage would appreciate it, but it'll get sticky.
Just one. I mean, like, since you gave the invitation, just one. Oh, and you know what I really want? Since I took that Christos, I want the Christos honey. If you all haven't figured out by now, like, I am hooked up from Apothecary for the Soul. Like, I am resourced from that business. Thank heavens. And it is like unendingly helpful. So a little honey for all of us. And in particular for me, because it's going in my body. Oh.
For those of you who don't know, that honey is I call it an anointing honey, because you're anointing your tongue with it's local raw honey. We love our honey people. Be Healthy Honey Shop. And a a frankincense oleo resin that I made, which is a really fun herb geeky process for anybody who likes to make stuff. And then it has 4 essences in it. It has Clear Channel, the King, the Warrior, and the Lover. And it's meant to heal the power of the sacred masculine to speak into being life, right? So we're meant to use our tongue before we communicate, write, pray, speak in any way, so that energy is righted. Like, right, that potential to seed the world with our words is done in a good way, and it tastes good.
Or we do it after.
Or whatever.
Oops. And then I'm gonna close out with the oil I started with, a little healing oil for those not overwashed, those every washed, every sanitized hands. Oh. I feel like it's just the sensuality channel with us. Like, oh, this feels good. Oh, this feels good. Oh, which reminds me, I probably could use a little more lipstick.
And I'm just gonna rub my neck because that feels good. I feel like there's something here that's like, it's doing something, and I'm just gonna
you're getting worked, girl.
Yeah.
So I'm going to invite us to we opened with some sort of grounding and energy. And so let's just take a moment whenever you do that. I think it's really helpful to tune back into that, that protective ovoid shape that we pushed out, gold shape that we pushed out, to really be in our sovereignty, to heighten that, and take a moment and on an inhale, just pull that into the center of your heart. You're still protected and connected, and we don't always want to push our energy out that far. That can be a little too attuning at times. So pulling it back in keeps us really centered in ourselves. Oh, take a moment just to thank everything that showed up today, all the parts of ourselves that had a thing to say, a helpful thing, a critique, whatever it was. Just a thank you for showing up and being witnessed. Again, just feeling that grounding with the earth. Go ahead and open your eyes. So next week, and we haven't talked about days yet.
We can post it like when we decide. We can post it underneath the video so people can notice.
I like it. Next week, like, we'll do a little storytelling, and we'd love for you to do a little storytelling. So maybe Ursula will offer up a Zoom link, and everybody who did a body map and wants to has something to say about it wants to join us. We're all in this together, separately in our own little rooms.
Mwah.
Ah.